Hello, world. Lana here, coming at you with a sleepy Saturday thought. Been doing a lot of contemplation these past 24 hours. Well, this whole week too. But this is a thought I feel like I've probably shared. Knowing me, I've probably gone through a wave of this. Realizing and working through and healing through. I mean, that's life, right? Sometimes we have to work through the same challenges a few times before it sinks in. And today I want to talk about love. And I think a lot of us have probably heard the phrase of, love doesn't fix anything, or love is not, some miracle cure that changes you. I mean, it does change you, but I would say it's unwise to believe that another person's love can completely alter any of the wounds that you have and that haven't healed yet. And I've been contemplating on, just the concept of somebody telling them that they love you. And, do those words matter more? Why do they matter? And do they matter more than actions? And do they, and even, I guess, going beyond that, do the words and the actions even matter? Or is it more about how you as a person interpret all of that? And I guess what goes on within you, and it's not necessarily reliant on this external force. And let me try and contextualize this. A while ago, I came out to my parents as being bisexual. And I think I've struggled with internalizing my parents' love for my entire life. And I think when I shared that information with them, I think half expected to be rejected, and for that to almost, I think I was looking for confirmation of what I thought I knew about how they felt about me. And I was met with the opposite, actually, which is still kind of shocking to me somehow. And I wasn't prepared to be accepted and received in that way, and I would have never thought that would have been more difficult almost, or a mind fuck to wrap my head around. I think rejection can sometimes feel easier because it's like a door shutting in your face, and you have kind of no choice if you're sane, rational, to accept that. And most people will probably build up their armor and say, screw them, I'm whatever, I'm gonna get through this, and move on. But to instead be met with acceptance and love, it was like, what? It was a whole lot of things. I felt like kind of gaslit. I was like, wait a second, have I been internalizing all of these crazy fears for no reason? And I'm sure that I have had my reasons. And then just like disbelief of like, really? Like, I'm not something to be ashamed of, or like I am worthy and deserving of that love. It was insane, and I still think I am trying to let it sink in fully. And I read a book around that time when I shared that news with them and got that response. The book is called Beautiful Boy. And it's about, the book is from the perspective of a father whose son is battling with the disease of addiction. And seeing that unconditional love of the father throughout that book, not wanting to paint his son as a villain and just really seeking to want to understand and help. It was, the universe works in mysterious ways, but it was probably the best book I could have read at the time, because it was just a reminder of the depth of a parent's love. And I don't know, maybe I was naive all this time in my life, that these little things about me, or things that I considered character flaws, my stubbornness, my desire to just do things differently. I know when I went vegan at first, I was like, well, that's another mark against me, and this just felt like another one of those things. When I got tattoos, it was sort of the same. It was like, well, yeah, like another thing to disappoint them with. But I had started to care more about what I thought of me. And, but clearly I hadn't done all of that healing yet, because I hadn't realized or even considered that this part of me wouldn't necessarily be a mark against me. Or maybe it is, they might have different thoughts and feelings and opinions about it, but the fact that it wouldn't change their love for me was something that I think I naively believed would happen. And that's probably a product of not being a parent myself, not experiencing that depth of love. But now, as I'm saying that, it does make me think of a conversation I had with my therapist the other day, where she was actually congratulating me. What's the word? She was sort of patting me on the back for being able to love and respect my partner, for their differences, and appreciating them, and not letting them become a thing between us. So I think you can practice that sort of unconditional love in your partnerships, your romantic connections, because I think that is what true love is, right? It's, to me at least, I think it's loving someone, not wanting to change them, loving someone without expectations of how they should be or act or grow and change and transform. It's wanting to be there along on the journey with them, and just being sort of excited, marveling there on the sidelines at what they'll become next. And that's something that I maybe it was easier for me to accept from Greg, from my husband, all those years ago. And I think that continues to grow with every day that we are together, and is something that I really appreciate about him. And maybe I know he always says that I always saw like the potential in him and helped nurture him into becoming who he is today. But I don't know. I think I had a lot of work to do even, and I think I've gotten better at just releasing even more whatever sense of control I might have had about who he is and what he is for me, and just really respecting that he's on his own journey, I'm on his own journey, and I can step back and just marvel at the man he's becoming, and he does the same for me, and that's amazing. And I guess that's often what I think good parents do too, right? You bring this soul into the world, and you don't know what they're going to become. You can try as hard as you would like to mold and shape them, but ultimately they will bring their own spark and own energy, and you have no way to predict what they'll become. And so I guess parenthood is a huge exercise in release of control. And I don't know, I guess I know that self-worth is something that I've struggled with all my life. And I think it hit me in that moment too of like, damn, I still have work to do. I wasn't prepared for the acceptance. And I think that brings me back to my what I started this video on about, how to accept love, I guess. And I think sometimes we can feel like hearing the words "I love you" from somebody the world will shift and things will clarify and come into perspective and the birds will start singing and the sun will shine brighter and everything will be great. But words are also just words, and they can change, and the feelings behind them can change. And most importantly, how you interpret them can change. Or just not, you might just not have that capacity. Like with my parents, and they said that they loved and accepted me just for who I am. And I was like, wait a second, you sure? Like, it was hard, and still is hard for me to believe. And so hearing that from a romantic partner, for example, that can be just as difficult. And so I think I want to encourage myself and maybe others to turn inwards. If there's love that you're seeking out, why are you seeking it out? If there's love that you're seeking out that you want some surety around, why? What is the fear behind it, behind that need? Is hearing those words going to make it feel more real? Is it going to reassure you that that person's feelings are true? Because they can change. And is there a way that you can find that trust and belief within yourself, so that even if you hear those words from another person, even if you start seeing the love and hearing it, that ultimately you are grounded in your love for yourself, and the knowledge that if love goes away and fades and changes, you still have your love there to not even to fall back on. You have your love. And that if love changes and someone's feelings about you change, you're not a fool for having believed in it, right? Opening your heart to good, to the possibility of good and love and light is scary, and it's brave. And to be left standing, in the wake of a relationship broken or life events turn sour, you are not a fool. I think that's a fear for me sometimes, trusting in something working out. Having the audacity to think that something might be for me or someone might be for me. And we're being worried that it'll go away and, the curtains will fall and ta-da, I'm standing there feeling like an idiot, right? My ego is protecting itself. It doesn't want to be hurt, right? It doesn't want to be proven wrong, or proven right. that deep down, nasty, dark feeling about myself not being lovable or worthy of good things is true, right? And I think we all probably feel a little bit of that sometimes, that we're not enough, or that we're too much, or that we're not worthy of good people and good things. And so when things don't go our way, it's like a confirmation that all of that is true. And it's not. It's often not about us. And I think there's got to be a way to flip that, right? To not make it about us, right? It's that we need to, I think, build up our belief in ourselves so that when things don't go our way, or people change their thoughts and feelings around us, that our trust in ourselves isn't so easily shatterable. That we can feel it hurt us and then let it slide off our shoulders and still be able to look up at the sky and see the blue, or see the stars, see the sun shining. I think it's interesting that the presence of love can actually be more scary and harder to grasp and internalize than the lack of it at times. It's something I'm mulling over right now. And it's been a cozy day reading my book. But it's such a beautiful blue sky. I think I have to force myself to get out of this warm house and soak in the beauty of the day. Because, yeah, I'm alive, I'm living, and I'm feeling all the things and feeling the discomfort of growth and recognizing the wounds that are still there, the ego that is still fragile and seeks to protect itself against things that I wouldn't have even thought I would need to protect myself against. I hope that wherever you are, you're having, I don't know, I want to say a good day, but having a day. And that you can take time for yourself to care for yourself. I saw a quote today that said, self-care shouldn't be an emergency resort. It should just be a daily practice. And that's what that's the thought that struck me now. I hope that wherever you are, you can do something kind for yourself, not because you need to, but because you want to. Spending time with yourself doesn't have to feel lonely. I think it's so important and something that I actively am trying to be better at. I think I used to struggle more with alone time. And, there's FOMO and there's all this stuff, but truly learning to enjoy my own company and appreciate me for who I am and the energy that I bring and that I bring to others so easily, the love that I bring to others so easily. All of that is evidence that I can bring all of those things to myself. And so I want to do that more often. I hope that you can do the same and know that however you show up for other people in your life, you can do that for you too. It's proof of that capacity and that you're worth showing up for. And even more so if you want to be able to continue to show up for others and show up in your life the way you'd like to, at full force, at your full shining beauty, that you need to do that for yourself.